falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me.
What you're expressing in reference to your mother, you're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him.
What's good, family? It is Team Mastermind. So Monique's son came out the closet and he exposed a lot of things that we didn't know about, and also Monique and her husband went and break silence and react to what he said. But before we continue, please remember to drop a like and also subscribe. So I feel like it is only right to play Monique's son video first, then after I play Monique and her husband reaction so you can understand the sequence. So let's continue.
That way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him, holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect.
What you're expressing in reference to your mother, you're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying, believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it. What we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
Children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being Black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. It makes us believe that we as Black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching. But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go as you have thus far. So
I ain't gonna tell no lie. This is really hard for me to make like a solid conclusion because they both are convincing. I ain't gonna tell no lie. I'm wondering so many things, right? Because it seems like Monique was really caught up with her career. She didn't spend much time with her son, and she spent more time with her kids that she have with her husband, and her son looked like he take it very personal, you know what I mean? He felt like, oh, what about me? And all children have the right to feel that way, but Monique's job is to ensure that she tries to make up, because you cannot change the past, but you can do your best in the present, right? The moment you have, the life you have now, you can use it to heal the broken wounds in you and your son relationship, right? And also, this is family business. I feel like it shouldn't reach this level. Obviously, I feel like there was like a gap in their communication where one was declining to upset our conversation, right? I do not know if it was money or her son. One was declining, I believe. And when Monique went on Common Shay Shay interview and she speak about her son, that gave him the drive to speak about her, right? And I feel like he's carrying a burden in a sense where he's a comedian and he felt like probably money isn't even giving him any strength in his career. I don't know, but there's so many things that I can look at, but I didn't have to share my thoughts. But this is just my reputation, team mastermind, to mastermind this situation. And the final thing that I want to say is that I was wishing them the best. Hopefully they can have a private conversation, no camera, fix thing, then come back on the internet saying that, listen, we're sorry that we did all of this in front of you, and we are working on our development and becoming a better family. And that's it, man. That's it. They don't need to do nothing more than that. That's my solution for them. I hope they can see the vision themselves and just do the right thing. It is Team Mastermind. See y'all later.